Tamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, the topic that we were talking about for the last at least one class has three aspects to the topic head, just to revise what we're doing. One is called eligibility, adhikaritvam. The second one is vairagya. And the third one is removing my doubts that are keeping me from understanding the reality about myself. Adhikaritvam, vairagya, and removing doubts. And all three are kind of the same thing, really. Why? Because, as we have already seen in the review of the Gita Vakyas from the 13th chapter, and also the study of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and many other Upanishads, the Neti Neti, Naiti Naiti. As we have seen from these, what needs to happen, what happens, is not the creation of anything new, but the removal of certain obstacles. Why? Because we should know by now that the Atma, by the way, the word Atma, you can make a note of this if you want to. Atma and moksha are identical. It's just two words for the same thing. It's almost like synonyms. You see, synonym is different from samanadikaranyam. Remember, we had 4 kinds of samanadikaranyam. So one was that this is a nilotpalam, gunaguni samanadikaranyam, where the blueness of the lotus, which is a guna, and the dravya itself, which is the lotus, all resolve into the same thing. So there, the blue and the lotus are not synonyms. They're not synonyms. But here, in the words moksha and atma, they're synonyms. They just have 2 different ways of looking at it. There is actually, I don't know if I did this or not. It would be good to do if I haven't done it. There is, yeah, I have. Oh yeah, yes, I did it. There is a definition of the word Atma. Okay, I'll explain this later. Hopefully I'll get time now. Yaccha apnoti yadadatte yaccha atti vishayaniha yas yaccha asya santato bhavaha tasmat atma iti kathyate. This is a very beautiful definition of the word Atma. You. This is all. These are words not. Don't think of Atma. You. This is your definition. Because this definition allows you to understand yourself as you are, as opposed to all the imaginations we have. I'm good, I'm bad, all those kinds of things. So this is one thing. Then we have moksha as the second word. And moksha has a very interesting connotation. What does moksha mean in English? It means release. So the release has a connotation that there was something bound before and now something has happened to release it. This is the connotation, isn't it? Moksha. This is wrong. Because as we know by now, The moksha is already there. This is moksha. You are sada muktaha from the very beginning, from anadi. But you don't feel because of certain obstructions. So when those obstructions are removed, you recognize that you are a mukta. So the mukti means the process of being released, is not the sense we think about it. You know, it's like, for example, you get released from jail. You feel like, I got my release. This is not like kind of a thing. This is really already there, but it was obstructed. So both Atma and Moksha are the same thing. So this is what the Gita verses are also pointing out, that you are a Arjuna. Arjuna is also saying, you know, it's very interesting, 13th chapter is almost the end of the Gita. And he's still saying, what is jnana? And so Krishna says that jnana is the removal of, this is a good thing to do. Jnana is the removal of jnana, of ajnana. Removal of ajnana. Jnana is nothing new. It is the removal of ajnana. So I was thinking one time when I was coming here, actually on the plane, I was thinking I should give them this quiz. And I really should have done that, but anyway, I've been talking about it, so you already have the answer. And the quiz was going to be, does Atma Vidya create moksha? And the answer is no. Then what does it do? It does do something. Otherwise, why are we studying and so on? So what it does is, it doesn't create moksha, mukti. Let's say mukti. Or moksha, let's stick with moksha. It doesn't create moksha, it removes amoksha. These are exactly the words of Swami Akhandananda. All it does is, it removes amoksha. We were just talking about Swami Akhandananda. I was just with Swami Satyavidananda for the last half hour. We were just catching up and so on. What I didn't know this is something she told me. She says Swami Dayanand was a great admirer of Swami Akhandananda. I mean, I never really knew this. So much so that apparently there was a Swamini who was a direct disciple of Swami Akhandananda, and she came to the Rishikesh ashram. She was just telling me, this is my first time I heard this. And Swami Dayanandji had arranged for a talk by her. Swamini Purna something, I couldn't quite get the name of it, maybe I'll find out. And she said that Swamiji was telling her that she spoke in, she's a Hindi-speaking person, all of Akhandananda's people are Hindi-speaking people. She spoke in Hindi, and very Shresht Hindi with a lot of Sanskrit. And Swami Dayanand doesn't know Hindi, but he knows Sanskrit, so he could follow it. And Swamiji said, wow, this is just amazing. So anyway, there was just a good confirmation. I had written to Swami Tattvavidananda Ji once, this is about 2 years ago. And quite frankly, between you and I, don't tell this to anybody. You know, I used to invite Swami Tattvavidananda Ji very regularly. And part of my reason was that I was also learning a lot of things from him which I had not done so before. But since I have started studying Swami Akhandananda, I personally don't feel that I need anything that I'm missing. I am just got pretty much everything. And at one time I'd written to Swami Tattvavedananda Ji and saying, my God, do you know anything about Swami Akhandananda? And he said, do I know anything? He says, I have been a great devotee of him and I'm very happy that you discovered him and we need, and all that. So now I feel better. Swami Tattvavedananda Ji is busy with other things and so on. Anyway, all this to advertise Swami Akhandananda's. So he says that Atma Vidya does not create moksha. It removes amoksha. This should be understood. So now, just to end this book, because I need to go on, there's a lot of other things I want to do. In terms of this adhikaritvam, the eligibility, this is what we're saying, that how do you understand the specialty of something? You've done basics, you've done high school, you've done college, you've done PhD, and so on. What does it take to completely understand? So this is where two kinds of sadhanas are recommended. So this would be the coursework required to reach to that level where you don't have any problems in removing the obstructions. This is categorized as Bahiranga Sadhana and Antaranga Sadhana. Bahiranga and Antaranga. So Bahiranga means relating to the outside, concerned with the outside. And Antaranga means, obviously, the inside, relating to inside. Swami Akhandananda very beautifully segments. Very beautifully segments. Just listen to this. So, in terms of our obstructions, what's keeping me from understanding myself, it is due to mamata and ahanta. Mamata means minus, relationships, mamata. And ahanta is what I think I am. Not my relationship with anybody else, but who I am. And there I also make a mistake, because as we say in the very first meditation, the very first day, that the purpose of the meditation, who is it that I am acting? Who's the actor? The whole meditation is to find out not the play, but the person who's playing the play. But here's what happens. I have an idea of who I am that is playing. Like for example, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a husband, I'm a neighbor, and so on. That much I know. But then I think that I am Vijay Kapoor. Okay? And fatherness and sonness and brotherness and so on gets invoked out of me. But they come back to who? The person. That person is, my understanding is me. This is called ahanta. This also is a problem. It's not true. So there are two problems. One is that you are bound by relationships. And the other one is that you have a sense of who you are, which is wrong. is called mamata and ahanta. So now Swamiji says, somewhere I read this in his talks, the Bahiranga sadhana is for reduction of mamata. And antaranga sadhana is necessary for ahanta, removal of ahanta. So the classical, what we hear about antakarana shuddhi, the purity of the mind, purity of the heart. So these are nice words, purity of the heart, but what does it really mean? We should know this. So the antakarana shuddhi means removal of asakti. Removal of asakti. What is asakti? Now we have to, you explain something in terms of something else which also is unknown. So that doesn't help at all. So if I stop at this point and say, you know what an antakarana shuddhi is? It is a removal of asakti. Okay, you all understand? Okay, let's go on to the next topic. You will say, but my dear sir, what is asakti? Asakti is also a very interesting word. Asakti is a tendency for us to be not moving away from something even though I need to move away from it. I don't remember who gave this example. One of the Swamis had given this example. It really applies very well to the current political situation, frankly. I mean, this was done when they didn't know about Trump and Republicans and so on. But you know what asakti would be? Asakti would be that despite reasonable reasons not to be a Republican, you continue to be a Republican. This is asakti. Pure and simple. Very good definition. Very good definition. I think that was done in terms of some political party in India, something like that. You just feel, that's me. What can I have to do this? No, but don't you think that you should go to? Yeah, I think you're right. There, I shouldn't be doing it. So why don't you just get away from it? No, but I don't know. I just think I'm a lifelong Republican. This is called asakti in all other subjects. So the antakarana shuddhi is to minimize asakti. Minimize it as much as possible. Move on. If you think that something is not valid, it is not reasonable, then give it up. So, antakarana shuddhi also, of course, it has lots. I'm just summarizing it for lack of time. It is also the tendency to have likes and dislikes. This is what I really like. And in a way, asakti is a form of that. That somehow you like the Republican motto and whatever it is, and you don't want to do that. And then you dislike anything opposed to that. So, likes and dislikes hold you back. And you have to, it doesn't mean that you have to completely give them up, because we cannot, if you like dosa and not roti, you cannot say you have to just forget about the dosa, just keep on liking roti. You don't have to do that. But things that you don't need to, then you can afford to give it up. So this is antakarana shuddhi, which primarily benefits mamata. This is called bahiranga sadhana. And there are a lot of Bhagavad sadhanas discussed. So there it is about doing good things in life, like giving money to non-profit people, building hospitals. So things that require your outward. So this is why it is called Bahiranga. So it requires your body, hands, and things like that. That's what Bahiranga is. Antaranga has to do with mind. Not precisely with the body complex and so on. So then, what is the? So now we can go to the Antaranga sadhana. So as we mentioned, it is primarily to eliminate ahanta, the false I. And how do you remove false I? Not the classical Antakarana Shuddhi. And we should also say that the Bahiranga sadhana itself is a precursor to Antakarana Shuddhi, to the Antaranga sadhana. Bahiranga sadhana, a progress in Bahiranga sadhana is a precursor to progress in the Antaranga sadhana. So that is kind of like a first step. So it's important to have a mindset where you don't favor one thing so committed to it that you don't listen to reason, all of those kinds of things. That is Antakarana Shuddhi. Antaranga sadhana is not done by that. Then what do you need for Antaranga? For the ahanta? Shravana, manana, and nididhyasa. You can minimize your getting into problems from others by reducing your sense of me and mine, for mine, this is mine, this is mine. That you can do. But the person who is left after all the relationships are left over is the ahankara, is the ahambuddhi, ahanta. That you cannot remove. By the way, there's another way to look at this is that there is a relationship called Vishaya and Vishayi. Okay, we went through that a little bit before also, Vishaya and Vishayi. This is also very important to know. So, we are Vishayi for the Vishaya. How do we define Vishayi? So, we are the ones who are dealing with the Vishayas. Right? I'm seeing the Vishayas and reacting to it, outside things and so on. But my status as a Vishayi, it remains undisturbed. So this is what Ahambuddhi is. This is the Ahanta. Then me, I am what I am. Things can go and so on and so forth, and I do understand that I need to have a good relationship and maybe no relationship. Okay, but I am what I am. This is called Vishayi. Vishayi is also not wrong. This is kind of like you are one type of Vishayi in the Jagrata Avastha. You are another kind of Vishayi in the Swapna Avastha. and then you are no Vishayi in the Sushupti Avastha. But there is a Vishayi. Vishayi means the person who's waking. That also is, as we have seen before, even that is not proper. So what that means is, remember we saw Adhyaropa Apavada. So let me link it to... Adhyaropa Apavada means that something which is superimposed, if I were to remove it, then it is the Apavada. So the new covering, not new, but the covering, Adhyaropa, if I recognize that this is a covering, it's kind of like, as we said, like cataract. If I remove the cataract, then I become a healthy seer through my eyes, right? So, Adhyaropa means it needs to be removed, right? So if you find this is cataract, then you have to find someone that removes the covering that constitutes the cataract, right? That's only when you will become healthy. Okay, now, if you are a combination of Vishaya and Vishayi, which we are, on our dealings in life and so on, that constitutes Vishaya and Vishayi. Okay, so if you remove the Vishaya, have you yet removed the Vishayi? No, I don't. Really? I need to remove Vishayi also? Your Apavada is not complete. It is incomplete if you don't remove the Vishayi. It's kind of like a doctor that removes half of the cataract, but the other half is still left. I had a cataract operation in one eye about 6 months ago. And quite frankly, I didn't need it. You know, I felt that it was okay. There's nothing. But somehow my ophthalmologist said, no, I think you should get it done because it's getting worse. And I think it's now the point you should do it. So I was kind of reluctant, but I said, okay, I'll do it. I came back, I could not find any difference. Furthermore, it got worse because I could see there were streaks of light on one corner of my eye. I was really concerned. I said, what is this? I've never seen this. Even if I'm looking this way, I see a streak of light kind of like on the left corner. So I called them back again. I said, I think I have a problem with this. And she's really okay. Well, describe what it is. And I'm just talking to a nurse at this point. So these nurses have also become very educated by now. They protect their doctors and say, So she said, describe it to me. So I described it. She said, okay, that's going to be gone in 1 week. That is very normal. And if it has not gone, then please call back, the doctor will see you. I said, okay. After 1 week, there's no change. If anything, it had gotten even worse. So now I'm really concerned. I said, this nurse doesn't know anything. I should go straight to the doctor. So I insisted on seeing the doctor. And somehow I think I got good. And he also said the same thing. He said, this is very normal. I don't know, he gave me some technical reasons. He says, please have some patience. And I just thought that there was something was not done right. He says, everything went right, don't worry about it. And so I stopped noticing it. I think it might still be there. No, it's gone, it's gone. So anyway, the Apavada has to be complete. If I don't touch the Vishayi, I have not done the Apavada. So we will look into that, as how to remove the Vishayi. But the best way to remove the Vishayi is to listen to what Vedanta is saying, to think about it, and to see for yourself in the nididhyasana. Without that, just antakurna shuddhi is not enough. Because you are leaving the Vishaya untouched. That is still the reality for you. You can see, okay, I see that the world is changing and disappears and so on, but I am always there. And the other thing that happens is, I tell you, I'm just telling you my own experience and my attempts. You feel comfortable with who you are. And if somebody comes in and tells you, you need to be different than this, I don't want to give this up. Because I've lived with this for, in my case, more than 80 years. In your case, about 50 or whatever. I'm okay. I may have problems, I may have some defects and so on, but this is me. And then Vedanta comes up and he says, Gagana Sadrisham. Atma is like Akasha. And I said, what? I have to give up my body and become like space? That kind of not only scares me, it confuses me. So anyway, my sense of being who I am is not easily removed. But then we have to understand the advice of our acharyas, while Swami Dayanandaji's words ring very, very clearly to me. He says, please, be brave enough to give up your sense of limitation. Brave. It takes, this word brave is defined in Sanskrit by the word dhira. Dhira is used over and over again. And the word dhira has two meanings. One meaning is, not two meanings, means there are both meanings into one person, into one concept. Not two separate meanings, no. But two aspects to the same concept. One is paradarshinam. Paradarshinam means you have to really out-of-box thinking. It's called dhira. So there it comes from dhi, buddhi. And so dhi here means not ordinary thinking. Really, you have to think far, and you have to imagine, you have to really be, you have to be intelligent enough to look beyond the obvious. This is one meaning, one aspect of the meaning. The second aspect of the meaning is brave. Brave. Brave meaning willing to undertake this, you take this step. It looks like, I don't know what will happen. I want to be like Atma, but I like what I am. And so the inability to give up in the search of something hopefully greater is scary. Scary. So this is characterized by the word dhira. And so this can only come if I have the comfort of the Shastra. Again, the same thing over and over again. That if your mom tells you you were born, and Ishvara, Ishruti and Shastra are the words of Ishvara. Ishvara is telling you, my dear, you were never born. And therefore, na jayate mriyate va kadachi. No, do not think about that. And your mom is sitting there and saying, Ishvara is wrong. I'm telling you, you were born. You weren't there before, and now you don't listen to Ishvara, listen to me. Now you've got two people advising you. Only a dhira will make the right decision. Most people will say, Baba, my mother, whatever she says is right, she loves me. Dhira will say, I know, but she doesn't know. I know she's mother, I tell you, is a very special creation. Absolutely. The closest thing to Ishvara is mother. Absolutely. I see that in my mother and other mothers, and I see that in my wife. It is a very special creation. Every day I see that. She overlooks any defects in her kids. Oh, it was not his fault. I don't know, that was his stupid thing that he did. Why did he have to do this? No, but you have to look at it from this point. Give up. Okay, Baba. She's nowhere, it's not as though she reasons or anything. It's a very natural thing. Ishvara, absolutely. Anyway, so Ishvara says you were never born. So even though you love the second of the Ishvara which is in front of you, but you still have to look at Shruti. The Shruti says, give it up, give it up. So this is the Antaranga Sadhana. So the Antaranga Sadhana is not Antakarna Shuddhi. It is not having good attitudes outside, having good relations, giving money to non-profits, helping others. All of that is Bahiranga Sadhana. The Antaranga Sadhana is much more subtle. And it is to remove the apavada of the Vishayi. Beautiful, just beautiful. Very nicely explained by Swami Kanda. All right. So there are two things I want. There's like 3 or 4 things I want to do. 5:25. 20 minutes. You know what? I think I'm going to do there's something else that it involves here. But I think I'm going to go further into something that I've been postponing. So lot to be done. We are really behind. Anyway, let me just talk about that. Okay. Remember I was telling you some things that you should remember and carry back with you? Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but that happened to me to be a big leap forward. And it may not be a leap forward for you now, but I assure you that if you think about it, some point in your life, this will be a big leap forward. And it could be for you now, that aha moment can happen, as it did for me. So, this has to go back to what we were discussing, the elements of a projection. Right? So, one is an adhisthana, and the other one is prakashaka. One is a screen, and the other one is a light. And you can also include the mechanism as a secondary thing, and also the script, as one of the students had mentioned. You can include that also, but secondarily. But the main things are these two. Okay? In a show, the images on the screen are really mithya, because there's no real person that you are seeing on the screen. It is simply the play of light and darkness and color. Color also you can include. And sound. The sound is not on the screen, but included in this whole thing. And it is projected on the screen. Projected on the screen means what you're seeing is really the screen that has some changes reflected on it. That's all. If the screen is not there, you cannot see anything. But you cannot find these things in the screen. The screen only acts as an adhisthana. This is one thing. And the second thing is the light. So what happens is that you need an unchanging light. You know, sometimes you have these, what is it called, pulsating lights. And those create all kinds of funny images. Things are moving, and then sometimes there's darkness and pulsing. That's not where the projection, or a good projection is. It's a steady light. Furthermore, the changes in the light that you see in a movie, are they independent pieces of light? They are in fact emanating from the source. And if you were to turn off the light of the source, they will also disappear. So they are not independent. They are totally dependent on this light. Right? Okay. Then we can say that there is a changing mechanism that provides the film, in this case, the film, And we can even extend it further, that there is in fact a storyline in the film. So there's a script. In order for it to really arrest your attention seriously, and that's what happens in a good film. So much so that you lose your own identity and you obtain another identity. So for that to happen, all these things are necessary. You need a screen and something which is steady and white in color. So it should have something which is white, and also a mechanism for changing and a script. If you have these things, then you have a very successful set of ingredients for a production of a movie. Okay? Now in this case, all these pieces are separate from each other. The light is here, the screen is there, the film is someplace else, and there is a filmmaker that has made the script, so there has to be an intelligent person who does all of this, right? What are we seeing? This is mind-boggling, guys. It's amazing. Do you know you are the steady light? And it is remarkable. In the case of the Laukika light in a film, there needs to be a source of light, electricity, a bulb, something that has to be maintained. It doesn't last forever. If the electricity is turned off, so will the light be. All those kinds of things. What happens if there is what I might call, forgive me, a celestial light? I don't like to use these fancy words based on Swami Dayanandaji's training. But I will do that here because the Sanskrit for celestial is Divya. That is used, so I will also use it. Divya. This is a Divya light. And imagine the nature of the Divya light. Why do you call it Divya light? We would call it Divya light because it does not need electricity to light it. It has its own power. It does not depend on anything so that it might burn out. it does not flicker. It is so bright that it can reach the stars. And it is the only source of light there is. All the other lights that you see, flickering, changing, playing, is nothing but your light going through the film which is your mind. And so all images that you see are nothing but your own projection. Not only that, you are also the screen. This Divya Vastu, Divya Prakashika, is also the Divya Adhisthana. See for yourself. Where do these images of the world come from? They may appear to be outside, but once, as we saw in the case of the Rajju Sarpa, they may appear to be outside, but once you are shown this truth, you see that this is your own imagination. All the thoughts, all the images, whether they are solid images or they are thoughtful images, see that they spring from you alone. And see that when they are dancing around, you are there. You are in fact lighting it. And they dissolve back into you. Not only does it happen totally in deep sleep, but even at any state you find that these thoughts are emanating in you and they are dissolving, they are dying in you, and you stay the same, untouched by them. If you saw fire, and then you move your eyes, the fire doesn't stay. It is instantly removed by your drishti. Everything emanates from you. Everything is sustained by you, in you. Everything dissolves in you. Exactly like movie screen. You cannot have any projection without the screen. And yet the fire burning on the screen doesn't burn it. It is just a projection. In exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. The world depends on you to be the screen. It depends on you to be the light. Your mind acts as a projector, and your vasanas act as a script. What you're thinking, what you're feeling, it is all your own script. The whole show is nothing but you. You are the abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. It is not just Ishvara that is the nimitta upadana karanam. The same intelligence means the same light. Same upadana means the same screen, all in one source. That's who you are. This is a very crucial point. And at some point in time, you will see the truth of it. You just think about it. It will dawn on you that you are an amazing light that continues to light up the play in front of you. And the whole thing, the screen, the light, the changing mechanism, the script, everything is you. Yes, things look different from you, but that is just an appearance. Just like the light dancing on the screen is really the light of the source light of the movie. There is no separate light. This twin roles that you play as Adhisthana and Prakashaka. If I study the writings of Swami Akhandananda Ji in Brahmasutra Bhashya, which I think is one of his finest works, because Brahmasutra itself is by Vyasa, is a very essence of the whole Vedanta about Brahma Vidya, and explained by Adi Shankara, and explained by Swami Akhandananda Ji, not an ordinary person. If you read his writings, the most common thing in all of his writings, right up to the last page, is the essential understanding that you and I are both the Adhisthana and the Prakashaka. You please forget about any other meditation. this is what you need to understand and just see this. To me, this was an eye-opener once I understood this. And this is the essence of, as we will now see, the essence of Advaita. No Dvaita. The whole thing is one. It is the essence of Advaita. If you wanted to understand what Advaita is, you need to understand that I am both the Prakashakaha and the Adhisthana. Very crucial thing. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyote Gamaya Vidyoma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.